Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very exciting segment where we discussed everything related to travel. So, our weekly travel updates with Tanvi Goel of Oz India Travel. And today we've got some very exciting news to you. And with that, I'd like to once again welcome Tanvi to the show, episode number 45.
Thank you, Ms. G. Thank you so much, everyone. Yet it's 45th episode. There are so many exciting things. There are so many different changes as well, which I'll definitely go through with you guys. So thank you once again for all the overwhelming response for so many questions. This week also, I have added some more questions, which I'll definitely go through with you all. And before we go ahead, I would like to wish you all very, very happy Janmashtami. Just coming in next few days. I'm sure you all must be very excited here, especially this when every temple got something or else. And in fact, we celebrate home as well. So wish you all a very happy Janmashtami. Also, I want to thank you everyone for all the reviews and all the amazing messages. You have no idea how much, how amazing they are. And even this time, I got a very special appreciation gift as well from one of the very amazing clients. Though all the clients are amazing, but this one definitely touched my heart for sure. This is, I would say, not a normal box of goodies. They are really appreciation. This daughter was waiting for a very long time, for 1.5 years or more, to bring her mother from India, and I just helped her because she pretty much didn't had any hope that she will come here. And I pretty much booked her within a week, and she was very happy, and I got this. So thank you very much, Ambika, and thank you every one of you for really sending a lot of appreciation messages. Well, really, it keeps me going. And as I always say, it doesn't matter what, I'm with you all till you come back home safe, and I can always guide you through the process, especially for travel. So thank you once again for that. We can definitely start now, obviously.
And thank you very much. I too take this opportunity and wishing everyone all the very best for Janmashtami. And aren't we lucky here, Tanvi, that we are in Queensland where we can go to all the temples in the numbers that we can. So it is very good. So moving on with the show right now, one of the things that people are asking mainly is that, okay, so who can fly from Australia to India?
So Australia to India, as usual, all the Indian citizens on temporary visas, all students, they can go back. Just remember, if you guys go, coming back is very, very difficult. If you belong to any of the critical skills, especially in medicals or aged care, you can always, get your exemption before you leave, so you can come back. Those people can go, and Australian citizens and PR can also go if you apply for exemption. Just want to go through once again the categories which are mainly common. So if there is someone sick in your family, especially parents, number 1. Number 2, if there is an unfortunate death in family. Number 3, if you want to bring your minors from India. And number 4, 3 months and more option is also available. But just keep that in mind that, you can't probably come before 3 months. And there are limited options as well from India. So these are the main things, guys. Also want to mention to you about the vaccination, which maximum people always ask. So it doesn't matter you got vaccination or not, you can fly from Australia to India and India to Australia so far. However, I highly recommend you all to please get your vaccinations done, because there are many places who have made it mandatory, especially worldwide, and that you have to get the vaccination, otherwise you can't go to those countries. And I won't be surprised if even next week or in few months, this rule comes for India or for Australia as well. So please make sure you get your vaccination done. I also want to tell you guys, as usual, comparison between Emirates and Qatar. First of all, the new news is Emirates got introduced one more flight. So if you remember, I told you last time as well that Qatar has less halt options, which is around 6-7 hours and 13 hours. And Emirates used to have only 16-17 hours halt options for other cities other than Delhi. So for Delhi, they have 4.5 hours halt option. But for any other cities, it used to be 16 and 17 hours only. For your surprise, this week, there is another new announcement that Emirates also got 8 or 9 hours halt options plus 16-17 hours halt option. Now you need to understand which one you should opt for. Remember, if you are taking 8 or 9 hours halt option, you are not eligible to get any free hotel or lounges, because hotel and lounges are you generally get for 10 hours or more halt if you have in Dubai. Otherwise you can't get it. So if you need that, because 8-9 hours guys are also not that easy to manage in airports, especially in COVID situations where there are not many places to sit or lie down. So if you take 16 hours halt option, then you're eligible to get the hotel or lounges. Just remember that. And in Dubai, and the hotel also give you pre-check-in options. So we have that option where you can have a 9 hours early free check-in. There is no extra charge for it. But if you go with Qatar, then Qatar have 25 kilos and 30 kilos option. Fare is a little bit cheaper, but they don't have any free lounge or free hotel option. There is a hotel. If you want to have early check-in, you have to pay for 2 nights. And if you go with Qatar, then you, for the lounge, you can only pre-book for 6 hours, which costs you around $80 to $100, and then you have to pay for another 6 hours. So this is the main difference, which is very, very important for you to understand when you're booking your flight from Australia to India. Amazing.
So that is all the wonderful information there, and people need to weigh up those options. So right now, looking at all the flights that you have just mentioned that are happening. So what are the flight options from Brisbane at this point in time?
So from Brisbane, we have plenty of flights. So as I mentioned before, Qatar and Emirates going from everywhere in Australia, including Brisbane. So next flight from Qatar is on 27th of August and 29th of August and 30th as well. And same thing in case of with Emirates as well. You have 27th, 29th, even basically it goes on Fridays and Sundays. And sometimes we have those on Tuesdays as well.
Okay, so sometimes on Tuesdays as well, that's good. And as you have seen on the screen, those dates there. So right now, moving on from Brisbane to Sydney. So what are the flight options from Sydney at this point in time?
So from Sydney, if you really want to remember it, then generally you have on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. That's Emirates flights going. And Sydney, the Qatar flights are generally Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. So next available will be definitely this week on 28th and 30th and 1st. So there are quite a few options from Sydney as well.
So Sydney is good to go with quite a few options there. Well, of course, right now, moving on to Melbourne. So what are the flight options from Melbourne?
So from Melbourne, you have on Emirates flies every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And if you go for with Qatar, then Qatar got Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So if you see that way, you got at least 5 days covered. If you want to go with one stop from Melbourne, or if you go any other days, in case it's emergency for you, you can always fly via different countries. So there are quite a few flights from Melbourne as well.
So Melbourne's good to go. Quite a few flights happening there as well. So, it's good to see that there are more options now than before. Okay, so moving from Melbourne, if we go to South Australia and look at Adelaide. So what's the, options from Adelaide at this point in time?
So from Adelaide as well, guys, there are plenty of options. The only thing you have to remember is Qatar is taking you with one stop. So mostly flights Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So though they are with longer halts as well, but once again, you have one stop option. And if you want to have a Emirates, you have that option as well, but that will be 2 stops. And that goes Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays, same like Melbourne, because we like to connect Adelaide's flights mostly via Melbourne. But there are plenty of flights from Adelaide as well.
Okay, so moving on from Adelaide, we go to Western Australia and look at Perth. So what are the flight options from Perth at this point in time?
So from Perth, there are plenty of options. Once again, 4 to 5 flights a week. Perth generally is the cheapest fare all around Australia. Okay. Sometimes it starts from $999 as well, so less than $1,000. So Qatar flights are every Monday, Fridays, and Sundays. And Emirates flights are Thursdays and Sundays. Right. You can take any time. Just remember one thing, guys, where these days, fare time goes crazy when you like to book 4 to 5 days before departure. So I would recommend you to book your flight as soon as possible. As soon as you decide that you need to go, it's best to book your flights. There's another reason behind it why you should book early is because flights are pretty much flexible these days. So you can change them, you can cancel them anytime. So in case fare increases later on, then you have to pay extra. But if you book before and you need to probably change the date, it won't be that costly as well. So definitely highly recommend you to book as soon as you decide that you need to.
Okay, so those recommendations are very good, and of course, many times there are many things that you recommend or tell people, but they really need to follow that for the benefit. Well, right now, the question that people are asking is, what are the updates about flights from India to Australia?
First of all, guys, those who are arriving in Perth and Brisbane from India and were waiting for a very, very long time, I would like to congratulate you all. Welcome you all to Australia. Hope you all have great time in quarantine in Perth and Brisbane as well. And next charter, the same Perth or Brisbane charter, most probably going to be released very soon within a week. So please stay tuned for that. Next week, definitely we'll be going to tell you for all that. Other than that, mainly flights are these days the Sri Lankan Airlines charter. You can get the Garuda charter, which I said going to launch. And third option is the Japan Airlines. So as I mentioned last time as well, that Japan Airlines increased their prices 2-3 weeks back. So, but these options are always there. But Japan Airlines option, just want to tell you quickly the difference as well. So you can make really very informed choice which option you need to go for. So number one is a deferred flight, where they are invite only, where you have to register for Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and make sure your registration is updated. They contact you. That's number one. Number two is the charter flights, which is Garuda Indonesia and Sri Lankan Airlines available in market these days. But just remember, anywhere you see the charter word, these all flights are non-changeable, non-refundable, which means you can't change. You have no option to change or cancel the flight. Even though you got COVID, you have very extreme circumstances, you won't be able to change. But in case anything happens, airlines needs to cancel it, government needs to cancel it, you have all due right to get your full refund back, or you can change the date as well. Number three, the Japan Airlines. These days, Japan Airlines got only business class options. That business class fare is really expensive, $7,000, $8,000 or $9,000. But these flights are fully flexible. You can change them anytime, you can cancel them anytime. So these are basically three flights which are coming from India to Australia. I just want to go through once again with you guys the documents which are required. So first of all, if you are going through two different states, for example, if you're coming from Delhi to Chennai, then Chennai got a Tamil Nadu pass as well. So that is mandatory. Sometimes some charter says you don't need it, but it is mandatory. And it's a lot of hassle to do it on spot. So that's only in India you get in Tamil Nadu. If you're coming in Australia, so most of the states got their own international arrival passes, which you need to do. And some specific charters might have some special passes as well, which you need to do. For example, the Garuda people who have arrived today for Brisbane, there were two forms to fill to come to Brisbane. Though the flight was coming via Perth, but because it's the same flight, they are not coming out in Perth. You just have to do, fill the only Brisbane forms. But if you, for example, coming to Perth and then you are going to Melbourne, then you have to fill the form for the Perth, quarantine there in Perth for 2 weeks, and you have to fill another form, whichever state you are going to. So please remember that as state passes, they are very, very strict about that. And it's very hard to fill these forms, guys, on your phone. So make sure that you have really nice devices around you, or you can ask any of your family members to fill it for you as well, because there's an option whether you are a traveler or you are filling on behalf of somebody, because phone, sometimes shows a lot of errors. So number one, your passport is very, very important, and make sure you have enough expiry, 6 months expiry when you're planning to fly, because that can be a problem for you. Number two is a visa, if you're flying on any visas, if you are flying on any exemptions. Number three is a RT-PCR report. So make sure it's maximum 48 hours before your international flight, not the domestic flight. So basically time is calculated that time you're giving your sample and that time your international flight is departing. 48 hours between that. If you're coming with Qatar, then Qatar consent form. If you are coming anywhere in Australia, Australian travel declaration form. Number 6 is the state registration, which I just discussed, whichever city you're coming to, whichever state you're coming to, every state has got different ones. And always, whichever flight you're coming, please take that special checklist. And as I always love checklists, Umesh does as well. I got checklists for every single charter coming from India to Australia. For even defects ones, I also have. For Sri Lankan Airlines, I have. For Australia to India checklist, I have. I also have the exemption checklist for Australia to India to Australia. The heaps of checklists I have. Updated one, which I update regularly every 2-3 days. and I'm happy to send you all that. So, yep, there are less options from India to Australia, but they are there. But please book your India to Australia flights only if you're 100% sure that you're coming, because the fare from India is starting from $4,900 onwards, and 4,900 to $10,000 per person. And remember, the child above 2 years old going to pay the same amount, because child above 2 carries a seat, and in charters, commercial, on these flights you pay for the seat. So it's the same price, and if in case you can't fly, it's going to be really a big loss for you. So highly recommend you to book only if you think you're going to fly 100% on that day. So these are basically main updates from India to Australia.
And quite rightfully that you're paying for the seats. So, and those prices are not cheap. So, exactly as you have mentioned, that people need to be very sure that they are willing or looking at traveling at that point in time. Well, okay, so let's come back nationally and locally here. As we know, we are in very challenging times, very trying times, so many things happening every day. There's new announcements being made every day. So, but amongst all of those, there are exciting things that can be done locally. So what are your updates on what are the exciting things that we can do nationally here in Australia?
So first of all, guys, whichever state you are in, I would say stay there. Just check all the restrictions you are in, where you can go safely, try to be at home. But yeah, if you're in Queensland and, not in New South Wales or Victoria or where there's a restriction, you can always go out within your own city. There are plenty of options available on our website as well, which is www.ausindiatravel.com.au. You can see the specific suppliers have mentioned their restriction and their rules and regulations, instructions as well, which you can go through. And most of the, those trips are very flexible. So you can definitely do that just within your city or within your state. Other than that, guys, I can see, especially this week, that all airlines are basically trying to encourage all to really get vaccinated, and really, putting a lot of offers, and I would say a lot of incentives and prizes to really encourage us that, we should get vaccination. So definitely highly recommend you guys to get vaccination, not only just for your health, but there are so many exciting prizes also which you can win. So let's start with Qantas. So first of all, really good news that Qantas made it mandatory that all their staff needs to get vaccination. And, they said, all the employees, they're planning that they should be vaccinated, whether they are the cabin crews, the pilot, airport staff, and they are trying to do all that by 15th of November. And otherwise, and they are reminding everyone, the first vaccination should be done by 15th of November, and second one should be done by, mid-March somewhere, the maximum, which is really amazing, because all these airport staffs, they go to different places, and it's always important that, everyone is safe. So that's really great initiative from Qantas to start with. And not only, guys, for the employees, they are really encouraging you guys as well to do that. And for that, they started something called Mega Prize Push for people who are vaccinated. So let's see what they call it. They call it Qantas Vaccination Incentive Program, which they have developed just a couple of days back. And they wanted to do it earlier, but it just kind of delayed. But sooner, the better. So everything is good now. So the Carrier Vaccine Reward Mega Prize campaign will give all Australian-based Qantas frequent flyers and age 18 or over who have received both the ZAPs and option of redeeming 3 prizes, including 1,000 Qantas points, 15 status credits, 20 off also you can take if you're buying any of the Qantas and get staff flights. So the incentive will also be the participating members automatically enter in a draw where you can get a major prize of 1 year worth of flights, accommodations, fuel. Winners they will be announcing in January 22, which means you have plenty of time, at least 3-4 months. And there are 10 mega prizes as well for the grabs, which will see the winners to enjoy free flights for more than 60 destinations around Australia. So this is really exciting news. And in fact, they have added more accommodations like 345 properties of Accor hotels. Top up you can do with BP petrol stations. And as I said, the full year worth of flight to 60 destinations. So you can imagine you are like, if you're vaccinated, how cool it would be if you will give him just a free pass to go anywhere around Australia. So how cool is that? So why not do it? I would say
Exactly.
definitely do it.
Exactly.
So next is from Virgin Australia. They are really doing so many other things as well. If you know, earlier Jetstar was the only one who were giving you just 7 close, just a seat only option. But Virgin Australia and Qantas had at least one piece option, and that's how their fare used to be a little expensive. This is time Virgin Australia also restructured their economy ecosystem by creating 3 new fare types, which is economy light, economy choice, and economy flex. Now, 3 of these categories will each offer a different kind of options, and they have option where you can just go with the 7 close of hand luggage and entertainment, which means fare is definitely going to be cheap and definitely good for those who just for to see family and come back and just for a little business trip. And Virgin Australia is absolutely amazing airlines, I must say that. So the new seat only economy option was driven by an internal review by Virgin Australia, and they are just going to start that one. So please stay tuned for that because you might have really amazing offers. And they also are, encouraging everyone to get the vaccination. So very soon, since Qantas started, we might hear something amazing from Virgin Australia too. Those who are Virgin Australia lovers. Next is from Tasmania. So the Tourism Industry Council Tasmania board has agreed that only vaccinated tourists should be allowed to enter the state quarantine free. That means they say no Zabi, no Tassie. So once we do, they said once you hit the targets and we get 80%, then definitely the travel between all the states will be easy and they'll be accepting. But at this stage they are definitely discussing that they want to accept only vaccinated people. So remember, no Zabi, no Tassie. Okay, next is from Northern Territory. So Northern Territory has developed round 4 of its tourism voucher. Remember, we told you guys for pretty much all the states, the governments are trying to, inject really a lot of dollars to for everyone to fly. And this time the Northern Territory came up again, and that's around 4. So this time it's $5 million tourism voucher scheme. And that's going to launch in October, and they're offering $200 credit to residents who travel more than 400 kilometers in one-way trip to encourage long-range domestic holidays. So just remember that if you're planning to go for the long holidays, because last time we saw in some states, so many people have, applied for that voucher while they didn't use it. And they had to give people randomly, like 1/4 of the people received it because there is definitely number of vouchers which they can allocate. But if you're not going to do a longer trips, and I would say no point taking that, but definitely excellent news for those who are planning to have a long trip. $200 definitely not bad. So that's the main update. Amazing Australia Live this time.
Okay, so no JB, no Tessie, eh? Okay, yes, yes, that's, well, I mean, look, it all makes sense. It's protecting everyone, protecting the staff, as you mentioned in the early stages, but about Qantas doing the right thing, trying to get everyone on board. And then we have people who are protesting against the vaccination, it just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, it's very good slogan there, no JB, no Tessie. So, okay, I mean, it is a wonderful thing that we are on the move, and the number of vaccination and the rates are going up. So soon, when people will have that vaccination certificate, they will all start to reaping the benefits that they will be able to travel freely. You saw your pass and off you go. Okay, so moving on from those interesting updates from our local and national level, let's go to international. So what are the updates on the international scene?
First of all, guys, I would like to tell you what's happening with the quarantine trial, like a home quarantine trial, which we have discussed. It was firstly announced in July that South Australia are going to have the home quarantine trial in September, and that's pretty much definitely going to start. So first trial program of home-based quarantine will begin in South Australia this week as a part of initiative agreed with the federal and South Australian state governments back in July. So trial will first offer the people returning from New South Wales and Victoria the option at isolating at home instead of hotels, with facial recognition, geolocation technology to be deployed to monitor and enforce the program. So travelers participating in the trial will be contacted by the South Australian government at random and required to provide proof of their location within 15 minutes with the goal of taking less source incentive programs and quarantine enforcement. So I would say it's really excellent news for everyone, that if this trial goes well, then definitely, mostly probably everyone will have option to do a home quarantine, which really going to save lots of money, because as you know, it's like 3,000, 4,000, starting price, and there's so many people who are especially waiting overseas just because they believe, they can't afford to pay for quarantine. So I would say let's do the right thing and make this happen. And if cases are less as well, it will definitely help all of us in some way, that we can government can allow us to do a home quarantine. So definitely excellent news that home quarantine is going to start this week. And let's see, maybe in a couple of 2 weeks later, we'll definitely have update that whether they're going to trial on some more people and how was the result. But definitely very, very optimistic on that. Next from Emirates. So Emirates has announced the extension of its booking waiver for travel through 31st May 2022 now. So bringing the airline's total ticket validity since the pandemic began from 12 months, they have increased to 24 months. That happened back in March 2020. So Emirates now also offered more than 2 million customers multiple date destination changes, ticket exchanges for vouchers, which can be utilized for future, and really doing absolutely amazing, giving people option for all the flexible tickets, as I always mentioned, though Qatar got the same options as well. But Emirates definitely given a lot more on that. And also Emirates has recently signed a code share agreement with Azul Brazilian Airlines, which will allow customers to seamlessly connect from 8 cities in Brazil to Emirates global network via Sao Paulo. So you will see there are a lot more connections in future between Emirates one from UAE to Brazil. And you can see, like, every week we have, like, they have done some kind of collaborations, they have got some kind of code shares, which means when we all get vaccinated, the world opens, then we'll have a lot more options and better fares to fly for sure. Again, I got option or bit of update from Singapore Airlines. I think we always love hearing about Singapore Airlines. So Singapore Airlines has announced plans to integrate its corporate travel programs under the plan they call the High Flyer brand, which is going to start from 1st of September. And that's a move designed to offer clients a great value benefits and options for corporate customers, especially for all sizes. So Client High Flyer program focuses on a small and medium enterprises, where the airline's corporate travel program is aimed mainly for larger corporates. So in past, you must have heard, the corporate tickets or corporate programs, but they were only for large corporates. This time they have introduced something called High Flyer, where the medium and small enterprises can take part as well. So which is definitely very exciting news. The merger of the brands will see new features of Client introduced, while all the benefits currently available in both the programs will be retained. So you will see definitely a lot more programs, and they are really good to fly in future as well. Next is from Jetstar Asia. So Jetstar Asia reports European links, and they have introduced a partnership with Air France, KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, British Airways, at Singapore Changi Airport. The agreement will carry passengers from 10 cities in Southeast Asia from 25th of August, which means from yesterday. The Bangkok, Clark, Ho Chi Minh, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, Manila, Phuket, name it. Too many of the Asian countries, you can see being part of it. So these collaborations and partnerships, once again, going to give us a lot more options in Jetstar Asian network, where we will have a lot more options. So they have done many partnerships in Singapore as well for different airlines, but this time adding Air France and Royal Dutch and British Airways would be definitely added advantage. Next is from IATA. So as we always like to tell you about the IATA part, so this time we got some news as well. So European Union and the United Kingdom vaccination passports are now recognized by IATA travel pass. So European Union digital COVID certificate and UK Kingdom NHS COVID pass, they call it, and now can be uploaded into IATA travel pass as verified proof of vaccination for travel. The passport holders can now access accurate and up-to-date information from IHF pass and still be the part of the European Union and UK vaccination passport. So hopefully, slowly, we will see that other countries, especially Australia, is also will be part of IHF travel pass. A lot more updates in that sense, but definitely that's excellent news as well. Also, guys, want to tell you about some hotels because recently, even last week, I got someone told that that they wanted to know about the Six Senses Fort, Barwara, that resort and hotel in India, and I thought, okay, let's put that one as well because we know there are more than 14,000 Australians stuck in India, and while they are stuck, they just want to take advantage of roaming around as well. So I thought, let me tell you about this particular property which someone just messaged, during last week. So reservation for stays at Six Senses Fort, Barwara in India is now open with the luxury resort boasting 48 suites, 2 palaces, a private spa sanctuary, 3 restaurants and 2 bars. So opening is going to start in mid-October, and that will represent a repute for brand in India, with each of the properties designed in contemporary Rajasthani style to complement the historic backdrop to the fort. So sustainability is also prominent in that hotel, with the property engaging in water waste treatments, and they got so many other options as well. And guests can also attend fitness classes, group activities, wellness programs, and full range of spa treatments as well. So definitely excellent property. Whoever chooses, I think now was Kunal. So we are happy to really share more details as well if you need to. But really excellent property. We started booking already, and that's going to start in October. Excellent property going. Next, I got a bit updates from Thai Airways because that's also, I know some of the passengers who have booked Thai Airways in past still waiting for their refunds because they were not going through. But this time, because Thai Airways, it was a little bit slower. But this time they have posted a profit, which is really great news. So Thai Airways has posted first net profit since the starting of the pandemic with the US $333 million. So that's half year surplus, which was going in loss. So previous to that year, they said it was 840 million US loss was there, but this time they said it was positive side. So I think there's a chance that definitely going to add more things, and those whoever your money got stuck and you're not able to get the refund, I think since they are in profit now, chances are that refund can come faster. So I thought I'll give you news that there's a hope, guys. Those are there, then your money can come back. And those who have done through us, we are regularly, talking to them. So hope for the best that it will come soon. I have another news from Bali, so it's not really that excellent news, but really good to know it. That Bali might was for up to 7 years, as per the Indonesian Institute president. He has warned, especially Western Australia, that they are planning to remain late at this stage, and they got this policy. And right now they're saying if our population is vaccinated by 80%, it might open. By this stage, they're thinking they might ban for next 7 years as well. So they call it Bali out until 2028. Wow. So these are main updates, but I would say we have seen so many different countries who have blocked different countries and, restricted, opened the travel bubbles and so many things. But when some countries say that it's 7 years or 2 years they're going to block, you never know when everything opens, when, vaccinations are done, then, these countries will definitely come back and open. So I know it will be a little hard for those who are Bali lovers, including myself. I love Bali. But I'm pretty sure that in the next few years, when things settle down, we should be able to go over there. So these are the main updates, guys, internationally at this stage.
Wow, wonderful news from the Thai that they have recorded a profit, in times like this as well. So, well done. And that is good news. And I think one of the very valid points you just made there is that once things start happening and people are vaccinated in large numbers, even though some restrictions are being put in now, and talking about that 7 years, that's a long time. So I'm pretty sure with the vaccination rates going up, that there will be some easing of these restrictions quicker than what they have sort of allowed for they're playing on the safety side as well. So, okay, taking into account all these considerations that you have just mentioned, some of them are very exciting ones there as well. So what are your tips for the people, and what would be your recommendations at this point in time?
Guys, first of all, something which I always say, please don't assume anything yourself. What
Yeah.
your friend has done 2 weeks back, 1 month back, does not mean that it's same applicable now. Like I told, this been for those who are coming to Brisbane from India. Now they have to fill two forms in some flights, like the flight who just landed today, while it used to be only one form. But one of the passengers said, no, I'll fill only one form because my friend filled only one form 2 weeks back. So please don't believe that. Always follow the latest guidelines, latest checklist, because you can be really in big trouble. And airlines have all due rights to deny your boarding if you don't have enough documents. So please remember that. And all these starter flights are non-refundable, non-changeable too. So it can be really big regret for you if you don't follow that. Second thing is, those who are coming domestically in Australia or India, please make sure you do your web check-in, because sometimes there are some errors which you never know. I just realized a couple of days back that Indigo added some new, if a bag fees you have to pay. So, for example, they generally give you 15 kilos in hand. And if you're buying another 15 kilos, so that becomes 30 kilos. And if you want to carry in 2 bags, because you think that you have paid 15 kilos for extra baggage, so you don't have to pay for the piece charge, but there is a piece charge as well which they have added, and they didn't let in one of the passengers check in because she didn't want to pay extra. So this new rule just came up 2 days back, and if she wouldn't do, the back check-in, didn't have most time, then she would have missed the flight. So remember, you do all the web check-in, especially for all the domestic flights. I always recommend you check your flight status even before you leave the house, because sometimes airlines do, timing can be early as well. It's just not always postponed. Sometimes it can prepone as well. And another thing is that always reach airport a bit early than the usual time. So for domestic, at least couple of hours, 2 hours is recommended. And for international, minimum 3 hours. In some cases, they say up to 5 hours as well. But I think it's a little bit too much. But 3 to 4 hours is a good amount of time that you should reach airport, just not the 2 hours which you usually used to go for international. So that's very important. Third is definitely about your COVID test. Want to remind everyone, those who are doing a COVID test from Australia, any alliance is not allowing the free COVID test. It has to be a pathology COVID test, has to be a COVID travel test where your name, your date of birth, your passport number and QR code is mandatory, and your report should be from pathology, not from the GP, because they have stopped accepting 3 weeks back. I had one of the passengers again had issues 2 days back, even though it was informed properly, but it was just, he was lucky that he could get the pathology report in time, because I always give a call on the morning of your flight to make sure that everything is done. It was manageable, but please always read the checklist we send it to you. Always check those instructions, because a little missing out can be lot of hassle for you. So please remember that. Even from India to Australia also, these things which I told you, QR code, names, these all things are mandatory from India as well. And make sure you fill all those forms as well before you leave, not at the airport, because it's problematic. And they apply to your flight from Australia to India, selected from India to Australia, which we already discussed. If there is any other date which you want to come, or any information you want us to tell the airlines, please feel free to contact us. You can call me on 040-440-3264. You can, go on our website, which is www.ausindiatravel.com.au. There's an option for callback on the website. There's an option where you can fill the form, send your request to us. You can jump on Facebook as well, Aus India Travel, on my own Facebook profile, Tanvi Goel, and you can message me. And it doesn't matter, guys, once again, you have booked with us or not, you are on the way, you need any checklist, you need any help, you can always contact us. There is no charge whatsoever to help you. We are there for you always. So you can go through last 44 episodes as well. on Chantex Media, Aus India Travel Facebook page, or Australian Indian Radio, Brisbane Indian Times. It's all there on all the social media networks. You can always, click on the copy button of the share page of this particular video and share to your all friends, all the WhatsApp groups, so your friends are updated as well what's happening in travel world right now, because there's so many misinformation also available in market which can divert people. And also, please be very careful of the scammers. I got many calls from some students in India that there are some agents asking them to pay 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, and they can, get them free exemption. Please remember, exemption is not something, in the hand of these agents. Exemption is like if government said students can't come, or they can come on certain categories for certain universities. These rules needs to be, are there in the place, and they can't really change them. So please, whenever you do any of those things, think very, very carefully, because no one really do a magic overnight, right? So please be very careful of the scammers. If you need any help or updates regarding that as well, you can always contact any of my team members. And I would really highly encourage you all to please join the Facebook groups, Australian Indians stuck in India, Indians stuck in Australia. We have a specific page for the, temporary resident students as well. In fact, we have so many WhatsApp groups as well, where we guide you, for all your applications. So there are plenty of help, available, where you can, get all your questions answered. So you just have to look for the right place. That's the only thing. So please look after yourself. And if you have traveled with us, review us, please check our page regularly as well. And we both will come back to you next week with more updates very, very soon.
And thank you very much for that excellent update and the report. That's quite comprehensive. Key message there for everyone is, if you can, please do go and get vaccinated. That is very, very important. Follow all the rules and regulations put down by the health authorities and Queensland government, and that way we will help get out of this situation quicker. If we don't follow the rules and regulations, and something happens to one person in the community, and it affects everyone. So, the rules, are set only for few people, but then it affects everyone in the community. So once again, thank you very much for being on the show, everyone. And as Tanvi has mentioned, that you can go on and have a look at all the previous episodes. They're all available on YouTube, on Facebook, on very different platforms like Australian Indian Radio, Chantex Multimedia, and all the groups there as well. So once again, Tanvi, thank you so much for the 45th episode of Aus India Travel and the travel updates. Been very consistent, being very professional, very up to date.
Thank you so much, Umeshji. Thank you, everyone. Stay happy and safe, and happy Janmashtami again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Jai Hind.
Hare Krishna.